And we should now be live. Hello everyone, I'm just going to quickly check everything is working correctly. It seems to be. Good. Hello Kairu, hello Jurassic Jaws. I think a lot of people are still with Evo, so I'm just going to give people a little bit of time to pop in. Oh, I went through some stupid shit and missed my fucking flight. Oh. Well, I hope you were able to get back. Oh great. It looks like the internet's throwing a bit of a hissy fit, continually giving me dropped frames. What's going on here? What's going on? Why are we getting constantly dropping frames today? Okay, seems to be stable now. Sorry about that, folks. Our internet has been a pain in the arse for the last couple of months. I'm just gonna have to, I think I need some new Ethernet cabling and stuff. I think I need to buy some new cables. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Jurassic, but I hope it gets sorted out soon. Hello, Joshua. Merry Christmas to you as well. Completely, just as a sort of advanced apology, I am very ill at the moment. Dane brought something back to the house with him from work last week, and it's made the whole house very ill. So yeah, apologies for any coughing, sneezing, or change of voice that you might hear today in advance. Hello, Kairu. Yeah, like I said, I think I just need to buy some new Ethernet cable. But that'll be a job for the new year. But as long as it stays relatively stable, which it seems to now be, that's fine. You've had a cold this week too, Joshua. Oh, that's not good. It's not good at all. So, this park is getting on pretty good. If you remember, when we were last here, we were doing the all-day stream, and we basically completed this aviary. As you can see, I've gone around off-stream and done some homework, put in our lovely side shops, some nice little areas, and just basically finished off the aviary, decorated the interior, so this is all done. Now, today's job, I want to just sort of do a few sort of smaller areas of this particular park. Starting with the staff zone over here, which you can see I've already made a start with. I want to build like the staff zone up. And then I want to sort of think about the greenhouse area and what we're going to do with that. So, yeah, that's the job for today's stream. But it's just going to be a bit of a slower pace one today, primarily because A, I'm ill, but also B, I don't want to do too much for this particular park before the new year. I don't want to, you know, go too all out. I want plenty to do. But yeah, so this is going to be the staff zone, and you can see I've already put the power plant in. I wanted to create, make use of this sort of river that's going to be sort of on this side of the map is where we want to keep as natural as possible. We're going to basically make it, this is sort of a protected area for non-prehistoric life. This is kind of like the modern life preserve. So I wanted to make use of this artificial sort of, not artificial river, but real river that I infer comes down off these mountaintops to here. So this power plant is running on hydroelectric power created from the water. Generating also geothermal by pumping some of the water down underneath this desert, because it's bound to be quite warm down there. So yeah, that's the whole gist with this bit, and then the rest of the staff area is going to be attached to this. So yeah, that's what we're going to get on with. Don't forget to like the stream if you are joining, because everything really does help with that algorithm, and this year the algorithm has been particularly painful to the channel. Hello, Zhao. Hello, Monster, and hello, Rob. I did not see the Jurassic World Rebirth toys. I don't really keep up to date with the like the toy releases and stuff. It's not something I keep a track of very often. I want a hatchery that's going to actually sort of work. And every time I do always think about the Jurassic Park one or the Biosyn one. Those, for me, the Biosyn hatchery or the Jurassic Park hatchery, they're the nicest hatcheries for me. So I do want a hatchery here. Although there's not much room, that being said. What about the DFW one? Yeah, maybe we'll use DFW. The DFW hatchery is like the smallest of the hatcheries, so it actually works really well for building parks with. I don't want it to be right up against the fence, because I want there to be an area for us to sort of build like a crane and sort of crate storage and stuff. So something like that I'm happy with. And I want there to be another gate here. Just for, you know, security purposes. I think we'll actually use a proper gate as well. No, stop. You know what, I think what we'll do is we'll put the fence in. Like that. Oh, thank you, Sheriff. I know I don't have to, but this is a thanks for all of the streams you, Dane, and Fallout did this year. I'm excited to see what you have in store for 2025. Thank you, Berenson. It's, very kind of you. But yeah, this year's been particularly difficult for the channel. We haven't really grown very much. And I'm not entirely sure why. I was actually talking quite a lot to Eva about it some weeks ago. And even she had a look at our analytics, and even she was a bit surprised. I personally think it's just because there's been so little sort of Jurassic stuff to actually make content on. Like, there really hasn't been much, and that does seem to have been the problem. Spinosaurus will have two different toys. One is labelled as a hero dino, and there's a villain dino as well. Well, the problem with trying to base any predictions about the film off of the toy line is that toy lines have existed for the other films as well, and have always included animals that didn't show up. So it's always a slippery slope to try to base it off of that. I am surprised Swerve doesn't, because a lot of his community are children. So it seems, you know, it feels to me like that he should, because he's got a lot of kids that watch his stuff. I want to put like a crane park here somewhere. Where can it go? It's gonna have to go in this corner, I think. Maybe here. Maybe here or here. Yeah. I just want it to look like there's actually sort of purpose to this area. Yeah, that works. Hello, Lycoon. You don't really trust Swerve with news anymore. Yeah, Swerve, you know, it's not my place to criticize other YouTubers. All I will say is that he is one of my least favorite. And that I don't really like him. No, nothing against him personally, and nothing against the people that do watch his stuff. But he's done a few things this year that's made me go, that's a bit shit. You know. Did you also note, folks, that Swerve has blocked this channel? So Swerve has blocked Triclaw Gaming on Twitter. I suspect it was after I called him out for peddling the lie about the new film being called Jurassic City. And yeah, he blocked the channel after that. And you know, if that's how he wants to run his channel, that's how he wants to do it. Personally, I think it says a lot about the guy if he can't accept criticism. Hello, Smaug. I have not seen. I have seen the Irish elk. I have not seen the cave bear yet, not personally. I'll be honest. I am finding Prehistoric Kingdom a bit of a drag to get into because it seems that every update they do, the game runs worse, at least on my system. Like, I really struggle to get a stable frame rate with the game at the moment. And it's just killing my enjoyment. I really wish that they would focus on fixing the optimization to make it easier to actually play. But the Irish elk is a really good idea for a new species to add. I think it's a really decorative species to add. I think we need some accommodation here. I don't think next to the power plant. So I'm going to suggest, let's see, maybe there? I suppose that's not too close to the power plant. Maybe a bit close. Maybe, yeah, having it there. And I do want to see if I can squeeze in. Where is it? Yeah, okay. Can we put that at the very back? Why is that not... What's going on here with the terrain? Is it flat or isn't it? I'm finding this map particularly annoying when it comes to terrain. It's like, oh, I'm not actually flat. It's like, what the heck? Like there, like, what's the problem there? Are you not flat? God knows. Anyway. Where shall we have... Okay. Let's put in a little path here, next door. Or not. There we go. Modular building is very tricky. I am sorry for all these dropped frame. I can see the drop frame numbers going up and up and up. I don't know why. Honestly, I do think it's just potentially the damage that we've suffered to one of our cables. It is frustrating, so I do apologize if there's any weirdness going on. Well, yeah, Jurassic World Evolution 2 is badly optimized too. It could just be interference from some other stuff, so I'm actually going to shut Discord. And shut that down as well. hopefully that should help a little bit. Potentially it was just Discord interfering with things. Anyway, carrying on. I want there to be a wall here. I don't want it to be too close though. Bum, bum, bum. There we go. Hello, she. Yeah, the exact launch date of when the next game is going to be announced and when the next film is going to be announced does seem to have everyone a little puzzled at the moment. I admit, I kind of thought we would have heard something by now. I'm very surprised that we haven't. Because to me, like the Game Awards were like the perfect opportunity, and they didn't. And I was like, oh, okay. So when are you going to announce this thing? Because they're leaving it incredibly late if they want to like make use of a hype period. Because if you think about it, the film is due to come out in July time, right? June 2nd, July 2nd, something along those lines. June, July time. So they've got, what, 5 months to build hype if they announce the game in January? Which is not a long period of time. Like, even Jurassic World Evolution 2, we had a good 5-6 months. I feel like they're not leaving much time to hype the game up. And that could be a really good sign in that they're actually working quite hard on it. Or it could be a really bad sign, because it might mean they're rushing? I don't know. I'm curious to see when they're actually going to come out with something. Some news. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. But it's certainly making me a little curious. No, 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 no. I just want... Okay. That's annoying me. We'll do it with walls instead. Hello, good Ichthies. Good Richthies, even. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot that needs to be addressed. I think it's fair that a lot of people are skeptical about what the next game is actually going to entail. I'm exceedingly skeptical just because I fundamentally believe that this game was a failure. Which is a strange way of looking at a game which has made them a lot of money and everything else. But I do believe that this game is a failure. And hopefully when I finish my full retrospective review, I'll be able to explain, my motivations for that. Okay, so we got a little bit of staff accommodation, power plant, hatchery down here. I don't think we can squeeze in an ACU, can we? Where's a reasonable ACU? Ooh, it's not that big actually. We could... Maybe if we had it here. Or maybe had it here. Just make sure there was room for the cars to drive around it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was a success financially. But I think if you only judge a film as a success by its finances, I think you get a very closed perspective of a movie. Because let's be fair, Fallen Kingdom was financially successful, but I don't think a lot of Jurassic Park fans would call Fallen Kingdom a successful film. It's highly dependent on what you think classifies as success. Is it just about making money? Or should it be something more? Obviously, as a business, arguably, you could say it's just about making money. It's a film, it has to make money. But like I say, I think a lot of the fans of the franchise would disagree. I can't figure out how I want to do this pathway, so let's do the grey path first. No. bit too close to that water edge there. That's alright. I can live with that. Yeah, I can live with that. Because there'll be a fence line here anyway, so that's fine. I'm probably going to use the low wall, which is what I have been using here. Let's have that there. There we go. That's a bit narrow. That's a bit narrow. As good as I think Jurassic Park Jeep drivers are, I don't think they're that good. So I'm going to give them a bit of extra room to get in and out. There we go. Sorry, I am trying to keep an eye on the chat. What is going on with the internet today? You don't really see any good movies nowadays, Smoke. Yeah, It's definitely a rarity for me to find a good film. It is definitely a challenge to get me to see something I fully like. Although I think part of that is just because I've gotten much more difficult to please as I've gotten older. I know for a fact that I'm quite hard to please as a moviegoer, so it doesn't surprise me that I would find it more and more difficult to find films I completely like. That's looking good. Yeah, I'm reasonably happy with that Starfarer. Obviously, there's some more decoration that needs to go in there. But, yeah, I'm happy with that. I do need to hook up these pylons. I did see the trailer. I'm not a particularly strong fan of superhero stuff, so I'm probably not the right person to ask for an opinion about that. Because I'm generally, I wouldn't classify myself as a fan of superhero films. My buddy Nerd Guy Productions has. I watched all of the Marvel films with him just because I had never seen them, and he wanted to sort of see if I could get into them. I have nothing against superhero films. I just think a lot of them suffer from the same problems. And I haven't seen a superhero movie try to fix any of the problems that I think they have. I'm not 100% satisfied with that, but it's workable. It's workable. It's manageable, as they say. This really is all over the show tonight. You've always preferred DC over Marvel. They have the better animated TV shows. They don't really make movies like they used to. No, movies have changed in the last... Well, just in my lifetime. That's not necessarily a bad thing, you know. My problem with modern movies is there are very few that sort of stand out these days. When I was growing up, we had the Star Wars prequels, we had Lord of the Rings, we had Titanic, which, you know, these were massive blockbuster spectacle films, which are still lauded, and many still hold many awards even now. And apart from perhaps the Marvel films, I don't really think there's been too many equivalents in the last 15 years. And I don't know if that's just because I haven't seen them, but honestly, apart from the Marvel movies, I can't think of another sort of big thing for the last 20 years of film. Like, I suppose you could say the Star Wars Disney trilogy, but the Disney trilogy was so poor. Data mining. So data mining, Smaug, is where people go into game files, go into data files, go into use programs to open files and look through the code and that sort of thing, and use that to sort of find secretly hidden elements of stuff that might infer what's coming. For example, you might find files in there that have being given particular names that might indicate something coming in the future that hasn't been officially announced yet. Data mining is sometimes useful, but it can sometimes be problematic. The problem with data mining is that, let's be fair, we all have computers, we all use computers. How many of you actually name a file what it is? It's very rare that people name files correctly, which is why I'm always a bit skeptical of data mining, because it's like that file could be called that because that's what it relates to, or it could be called that because someone just couldn't be asked to come up with a proper name for it. You know. So I always take data mining with a pinch of salt. Now, where was the... Okay, so that's the halfway point to lead down to the greenhouse area. So I need to know where that is. So this gives us... I want to kind of continue this effect around the whole thing. So I'm going to put in some more of these. So 1 and 2 and 3. Bit of a gap there, isn't there? Bit of a gap there, but we can do something with that. Yeah, or document 430 million. Exactly. Like, I've got so many files on my computer that are not correctly labeled. I feel that the Star Wars Disney trilogy is a very... Oh, bollocks. Excuse my French. I feel that the Disney Star Wars trilogy is something that brings up a lot of... I'm going to have to rebuild this area. That's annoying. What was I saying? Oh my god. I hate it when this happens. When you make one mistake and it completely ruins everything you've done. When was the autosave? 3 minutes ago. We'll take the autosave, please. Because I haven't done that much in the last 3 minutes. So we'll take that autosave. Yeah, the Disney trilogy, I feel, is a trilogy that has a lot of discourse around it. I feel that it's like one of those, it's a Marmite trilogy. You either think it's the best thing ever, or you think it's the worst thing ever. In a similar vein to the prequels, you either think the prequels were great, or you think they were rubbish. It seems like there's not a lot of like middle ground with them. I when it comes to the Disney ones, I'm kind of in neither camp, honestly. And I think part of the reason for that is for me, I don't have any particular love of Star Wars. Um, I was a Star Trek fan before I ever saw Star Wars. And personally, I think Star Trek is the better franchise. Star Wars is all very well and good if you want a movie to turn your brain off to. But, it really cannot be denied that Star Wars is basically Lord of the Rings in space. Which is nothing against Star Wars. I'm not saying that it's bad for being that. I'm just saying that's all it is. And, that's okay. But that's all it ever will be. It will just be okay to me. So I think also a lot of the discourse about the Disney trilogy, I think people had this expectation that it was going to be more than a Disney cash grab, and I think all of us knew that the only reason Disney was doing this was to be a cash grab. Like Disney for many, many years, they've long since stopped being, a trustworthy company. They're just a company that likes to make money now. So if you look at the Disney trilogy films in that vein, as this is just Disney wanting to make money, then they are exactly what you expect them to be. They are substandard versions of a beloved franchise that feel like they've been written by an AI because they have all the correct pieces of a Star Wars film. There's just not much soul in it. But like I say, I was never a Star Wars fan, so I don't particularly care that much. I'm sure that for like the actual dedicated Star Wars fans, it's they have much stronger opinions of it. In the same way that I have very strong opinions of, what Jar Jar Abrams did to the Star Trek series. When he got his grubby hack writing mitts all over that. The last things from Disney I actually cared about were the Owl House and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Honestly, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are probably one of the few things I actually, film-wise, like. Marvel-wise, I think, well, the second and third ones, I wasn't particularly that fond of the first one. Looks alright. If Titanosaurus is actually confirmed, it would be the third time we've had a controversial species in a movie. I have seen some of the Transformers films, but again, as a kid, I was never a particularly massive fan of the Transformers movies. As a kid, sorry, I wasn't a particular fan of Transformers as a toy franchise, so I didn't really care. I thought Shia LaBeouf was a terrible actor, frankly. Okay, right. So, how am I getting people down to the greenhouse area? I do want a slightly thicker path. I want there to be sort of space to put some trees. I'm pondering whether to continue this this sort of high area and kind of have it curve around. What does that look like? Like, I was thinking of having something that curves round like that. And then that kind of cuts off this area for the greenhouses. But obviously there's also going to be like there's an exhibit. There's space for an exhibit between here and the shopping area that will be around it and here. I feel like I should put the lagoon in now. I feel like a lot of this build is unclear because I don't know where I'm going with the lagoon. So let's put that in. Now the lagoon I built last time was a hexagonal lagoon. And I think it had the long edge at the bottom. Einen momentum. I just want to have a quick look at the few screenshots I have of the build. So I can double check I'm actually building it correctly. I mean, something I would say, like, when it comes to my film choices, is that I'm not a... I know I'm very difficult to please. Because I don't do very well with what I suppose most people would call popcorn films. That is just really stupid, over the top movies. I don't do very well with those. Like, I couldn't stand Pacific Rim for that very reason. I absolutely hated Pacific Rim. Did I not take a single picture of this park from above? I did. Hang on. Let's have a look. Ah, that looks promising. That's what I want. Right. So it looks like when I built this last time, there was like a semicircular piece of terrain that came off the back of here. And the lagoon was pretty close to that. And it had its straightest edges along the sides here and here. Okay, let's figure this out. Because once the actual lagoon is kind of placed, I can build the rest of the park around it. So basically, it was something. So I used this little bit of land here for like the hatchery and stuff. So it was kind of pressed up against there. So let's see. So if we have 1, 2... Oh no, that's not angle snapped. Because that would make... That makes a flat edge, so that's not the right rotation. The rotation needs to be that, I think. Because that would make... That makes that. Which is what I'm seeing... Kind of? How is this edge straight then? Maybe it wasn't. It's so difficult to know what I did. It's a pretty large lagoon as well. It looks like it was about that big. But I reckon it was further over. It only has to be based on... I'm probably thinking too much about this. It only has to be based on the park I built last time. It doesn't have to be a perfect replica. I'm supposed to be building this better, not the same. That lagoon is too big for what I want. That's a better size of lagoon. I could still do something with around the sides there. I've still got plenty of room. It feels like I've got way more room than I did the last time. I might shuffle this over a little bit. Let's move it over a little bit here. Bugger. I shuffled it too much. No, that's the wrong shape, isn't it? Yes, it was. Ugh. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's more similar to what it was. I'm gonna put like an extra... I kind of want there to be like an extra bit so we can attach... You know, we'll leave it like that for now. Okay, so if that's where the lagoon is going to be... and the area around the sides of the lagoons are lower. They're going to be lower down. So this would then split this area off quite nicely. Kairu and Zhao having a very in-depth conversation about whether the toy line can be trusted or not. I am surprised we haven't had a trailer for the film or the game yet. Am I the only one as well that feels that the new film is trying to rely on the fact it's got Scarlett Johansson in it more than anything else? Like, every picture of the film has basically been her. And the newest picture we had, I think it was today or yesterday. Oh, it's her with that shiny new suitcase open, doing something. And it feels like they're trying to bank off of the fact that Scarlett Johansson's in the film. I couldn't remember her name. But yeah, it feels like what they're basically saying is like, come and watch this movie because it's got Scarlett Johansson in it. And I really don't care. I do not give a shit. Like, personally, if you were going to have any female character in a Jurassic film, you get Sigourney Weaver, but she's perhaps a little too old now. Which I feel is a massive shame, because can you believe a flipping Jurassic Park film with Sigourney Weaver in it? That would be so cool. Also, if you don't know who Sigourney Weaver is, she is the actor who plays Ripley in the Alien films. She is the original boss female character, and I feel like no one's really topped her yet, to be honest. Also, if you don't know who Sigourney Weaver is, shame on you. Or if you haven't seen the Alien films, go and watch the original Alien films, because they are supremely good. And in my opinion, Alien Romulus did not quite hit the same standard. Like, it wasn't bad, but it's no Alien. Okay, so The aim is to have this area as a greenhouse. There's going to be sort of from around here, and then if I look at it from here, sort of around... See, the problem is there is supposed to be an area down here for dinosaurs, so... This is still in the wrong place. This is what happens when you're trying to lay a park out. You know what you want to do. It's just things have to be in the right places, otherwise it just doesn't work. Okay, that looks better. So what there's going to be like an area cut out kind of here where we're going to have dinosaurs. There's going to be another exhibit sort of there-ish. And then there's going to be this area here is going to be a special enclosure. I've already decided what dinosaur is even going in there. So there's going to be a particular exhibit down there. Or actually, I might make this particular exhibit kind of reach out to here, because that just seems a little small. So there you go. So the greenhouse area is basically going to be all over here. And last time all I did was I put 3 like domes down, and just there was like this ridge line down here. I want to be a little bit more creative, decorative with it this time. I'm going to build the 3 domes now. There we go. Might make them bigger than that, but we'll see what we can do. Now I'm thinking about doing like octagon, one of my famous octagons here, just to serve as like a center point. So maybe go from okay, so this is the path that's going to run around the edge of the enclosure we're going to have built. Now, I feel like I do too many straight lines with my builds. Let's get rid of that. Let's do something a little more curvaceous. Yeah, something a bit more like that. Probably about the only time you'll hear me say curvaceous. Yeah, the Super Bowl is usually where they release a lot of trailers and stuff, so it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. Although, when even is the Super Bowl? I have no idea about it being non-American, non-sport person. Okay, so there's our path. And then we need an area for us to like take a path off for the greenhouses. I'm thinking here. Again, I wanted it a little curvaceous. Like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put in one of my classic octagons. In the center of the octagon, we are going to have a dinosaur. So it's kind of like a roundabout and a central exhibit. But it'll only be, you know, a small-ish species, I think. Ah, you pain. February is... Oh, Super Bowl's in February. I see. That would be cutting it really, really close. I almost think that's too close. And it kind of... I kind of feel like we're going to get it... It's going to be delayed. I kind of feel like it's going to be delayed. They were still filming parts of the film, you know, not too long ago. And honestly, I feel like the film could get delayed. I don't think they've had enough time, honestly. And, you know, I'm all for films being delayed if they need the extra time. Ooh, we've got a bit of a snake head going on here. Shame I want to put a dinosaur in here, because that could be a nice little bit of path art we have going on there, but maybe we can like still have the dinosaur in there, but maybe make the outside look like a snake. Let's see what it looks like if we Sorry, I went quiet while I was putting this path in. That's how you can tell I'm concentrating. Where would the eyes of a snake be? They'd be here and here, right? They'd kind of be like there and there. We could definitely use water to make the eyes. I like that idea. What I don't like is the fact that this is not the correct height. So we'd have to lower the terrain ever so slightly. But that's fine. Yeah, the water tool in this game, I think I would go as far as to say is one of the worst water tools I've ever had the misfortune of using. Zoo Tycoon 2's water tool could be a pain in the arse at times, but this game's water tool has nothing on that one. And yeah, if we put like an eye there, an eye-ish there. I feel like to get this to work correctly, to actually create the illusion that we want to create, we're going to have to use like a dedicated size. That's too big. I mean, it's not perfect. But as I'm fond of saying, there are tolerances. If we then had like a... give him a little tail sticking out there. Tail? A little... Goodness sake. A little tongue. You know, I am definitely ill. Definitely ill. I'm way off my game today. I'm doing a really shit job keeping up with chat and everything, so I do apologize. I'm just way off today. And yeah, if we stick like specifically a black rock in here, really I want to find one that's got like a really good flat surface like that. That works. We have our little snaky thing. Oh, snakes have slit eyes, don't they? Not round ones. Hang on a minute. Let's do this properly. There you go. Properly slit pupils. And then we can use... There is a particular rock texture. It's like lightly coloured, but... if we use that texture... just adds a little snake skin to the edge. Yeah, I like that. It's a nice little touch. And then we can have our greenhouses will come off here. So I'm thinking we'll have one probably sort of here. One kind of here. And one here. How is that looking here? Maybe move this one and this one. Yeah, I think I prefer that. I don't want these domes to be looming over this enclosure too much. And then we can also make the rest of this area just like lots of gardens and stuff to really hype up the sort of whole greenhouse feel. Is it meant to look like a rattlesnake? Well, there wasn't a particular snake in mind. It was just, this is a snake. That was the feel I was going for. Yeah. And then we have our lagoon, which we're going to dig around the side of. So basically this is going to be... Oops. Where are these? That depth is a little bit low. Let's make that a little higher up. I think it needs to be about there. Ah, it will not line up properly. It's probably about as good as I'm going to get it. How deep is that? Yeah. Yep, satisfied. That's that sort of depth. I'm just placing all these bits in because it's so much easier to sort of build the park if you get like the major components in. If you get all the big bits in first. It's so much easier to just kind of build everything in around it. Especially with a modded build. Wrong gallery. Yeah, it would be nice to have a promenade gallery. That's exactly what I would call it. I would call it a promenade gallery, and it would just be something like this that you stick on the side. But at the same time, I understand why Frontier didn't give us one. Because, I don't think Universal would allow them to use anything other than the Lagoon Viewing Gallery. And two, it would require people to build down around the lagoons. And doing something, I think, I've seen this in a lot of people's park builds. I don't think people realise they can dig down the terrain around the lagoons. So many people in their parks, I just see lagoons on the surface with no dig down around them, and I think people forget that there are solid walls below the ground level that you can dig around. And then obviously, that's how I got that straight edge there, yes. Okay. I mean, I am going to have some galleries as well. I'm probably going to have them along this edge, maybe. Might go for like a Jurassic World style, like have them along one side. Maybe. And then basically what happened in the old park was down here there was like a couple of amenities, small amenities. And then they led upwards to an amenity. There was like a row of like small shops at the edges here, at this top edge, and then at this edge. Now obviously we could still have that along here, but on this side obviously I think we'll have the viewing galleries. With these greenhouses, I do want to try and make it look like there's pathway inside them. So I need to create like an entryway for each one. And then this space here would just be a dinosaur area. So yeah, it's gonna take a lot of work. I was thinking, I was wondering about trying to use some more of these the little enclosures, the glass ones specifically. Maybe trying to join the greenhouses into like a kind of enclosed space where we could have some other animals in there. I'm actually thinking what's probably going to be easier to do is to use a combination of these roof pieces, which we can kind of like meld into like the edges of the greenhouses. And then if I combined... Let's do a little experiment here, because I'm curious about something. So... how many of these... it wouldn't be perfect. We'd have to figure out... and then if we grabbed this and moved it up just to where the black bars were showing. I mean, that would make for a reasonably good size enclosure for a lot of different animals, I feel. The brain is cooking. Fletcher, you've told us you're a history teacher before, but what history period do you specialize in? I suppose I'm a specialist in between the years 1900 and 1945. I am very much a World War One and Two historian. Like, if you were going to ask me what my expert subject would be, it would probably be the World Wars or Titanic or something like that. But it's definitely like 1900 to 1945. I know a reasonable amount of history from pretty much every other time period, but those are the two time periods that I know the best. Pretty much World War One, World War Two, the interwar period, early Cold War. The run-up to World War One. The brain is cooking. I feel like all of these should be with each other. For this plan of mine to work, these are all going to have to be with each other. So I'm going to have to be careful where I put stuff. That is borderline acceptable. And it all depends where I put the first one. So perimeter fence. Is that outside? Yes, I remember you saying you were a music teacher. Ancient history... I wish they would teach more ancient history, to be honest. Like... I feel it's one of those areas of history education in schools that just gets forgotten about. Like, we don't teach Roman, Greek, Egyptian history because it's kind of assumed that primary schools have already taught all that, so we just don't bother with it. Always makes me a bit sad because I feel like the Romans and the Egyptians and the Greeks are like the areas of history that kids like the most. Okay, first greenhouse is going to go here. How much room do I have on this side? Enough. I think I have enough room either side. Good. What building do we use to make it look like they're enterable? Probably these, again. And I'm going to have one here. And then one on the inside. There. And then we're going to have it come out of the greenhouse. I think here. And then in the greenhouse, I would say we'll use a log-lined path, but I just don't think it suits what we're going for with this. Honestly, that suits, but it's a bit thick. I say that, but I've got custom. I can do custom width. There we go. I feel like we could like put a bridge or something along that straight bit. Bugger. Yeah, Mesopotamian history too. You know, I think history teachers get a bit of a bad name for being boring because it's not us that pick the history a lot of the time that we have to teach. In fact, a lot of us want to be able to teach the more interesting bits of history. We're just not allowed to. You know, the curriculums we have to follow are quite strict. We're just not allowed to teach a lot of the history that we would prefer to teach, and that I'm sure students would prefer to learn about. Which is sad, because then students end up hating our subject, and it's not our fault. Hello, Xerxes. Funny we should have someone called Xerxes suddenly show up. Right. So, the way I see this is you enter this first greenhouse, and then once you exit the greenhouse, you are located in an internal area. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I want to do is try to create enclosures inside this area, basically. So some will be cages, some will be walls. That's the plan anyway. So I think to start with, how tall is these compared to the wall pieces that we have? Oh, they're a lot taller. Oh, wow. Okay. So I really want to try and make this feel like one joined up area. I'm just not sure how to do it. It's convenient, Xerxes, because we were literally talking about history. No worries, Rob. You sleep well. So you come out of here, and I want you to be in a completely covered area. That's the first thing I want, is for you to be covered here. So we will use these, and we will use these. I'm going to place those down just so I can get the height of this. Just there. And these are going to be lined up to basically there. So these pieces are going to sort of run up to there. It seems to be a little further back. Right, then we need another one there, and one there, and one there, and one there. So you'll leave this area via this way and come around here. And I want there to be something here. This will be kind of positioned I think we might have to move. I think we might have to get rid of the snake head. I think I need to do the greenhouse and everything first, and then put this in. So goodbye, Sneaky. But we will basically rebuild this because I really like the idea. I just think what I need to do. I think the snake head needs to. I think the snake head needs to be pointing this way, up. I think it needs to be up here, pointing this way, rather than pointing that way. This is what happens when you get ideas for builds. Sometimes you have to destroy stuff you've built to make something work. Right. So this one is going to be, whoops, about here. So you come out of this one, go through here, come out here, there'll be like a dinosaur reptile exhibit here, and then you go into the next greenhouse, And then you go into... So you enter the next one here and probably exit this one up here, and then the next greenhouse will probably be here or here. And then we can have Sneaky Boy's head here or here. That's the plan. We will rebuild the snake. Don't worry about that. Because I like Sneaky Boy too. Oh, sorry. Like I say, I'm still very much getting over whatever illness Dane brought to the house. Okay. Why is this somehow... Oh. Why are these two somehow lower? Cancel. Whoopsie daisy. Is this not flat? It was not. They really need to sort that out in the next game. Okay, so this one in here. This is what I had to do for the entrance area, by the way. And it took a lot of MacGyvering to get everything in almost exactly the right position, or the best position, to make what I wanted to make happen. Just constantly moving each one. So that the edges line up as good as can be. Not bad. This one still feels a little off. But yeah, reasonably happy with how that looks. As a serpent who devoured all animals and lived in the sea, do you think the serpent was based on a real-life animal, like people mistook a whale for a snake? I think it's more of a case of people needing to describe something they have never seen, and so that they describe it using an animal they are already aware of what it is. Like if you already knew what a snake was, but you didn't know what a whale was, and you saw, for example, a humpback whale do that thing where it breaches the surface with its mouth wide open and it swells out when it like takes a big gulp of water and captures all that fish. If you knew what a snake was but had never seen a whale, that action of the humpback whale like opening its mouth really wide and swelling up and everything, would look very snake-like. So you would probably, when you were describing it to somebody, would then tell them it was a snake. Or you'd use the snake as a simile, because you would have no other point of reference. That's my feelings on it anyway. Okay, so the next one is going to enter there. So that gives us a reasonably large size-ish to have this little enclosure here for the animal that I want to put in. Because the path is going to come out here and then kind of curl around and then enter back into there. So it's going to be a reasonably good amount of space. Where did I say that was going to go? There. So I know this is boring, but I didn't think we were going to get a huge amount done this stream because I am so ill. Plus, I want there to be plenty to do next year when we come back. I am hoping to do one final all-day stream with Fallout. Naturally, we couldn't do it this week because obviously I've been ill and Fallout's been busy with work. But I am hoping to do it. We're hoping we're going to be able to do it on... Let me get my pad of paper where I have written everything down. Yeah, New Year's Day actually. January the 1st. We're hoping to do our last all-day, our next all-day stream, but I suppose our first all-day stream of the year on January 1st, where it will be me and Fallout, and we'll probably try to play some SnowRunner, and some stuff. Or if I bully Dane, I might see if we can start our big Tricore Baldur's Gate playthrough. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, we're gonna have basically what I was thinking is having a let's just mark out where this enclosure is gonna go here. I was thinking of having the Anthracosaurus, the big amphibian from the amphibian pack. Because it makes sense. We're in the middle of a desert, so I feel like... Or maybe Megalania, or something like that. It's just something big lizard-like. I want a big lizard boy. I don't like that. I want a nice curved path. Like that. And then I'll have it enter into there. Oh. Maybe it makes more sense to go from here and go to there, and then Yeah, something like that. Because I was just going to line that with some low fencing from Kai's mod. And then have this bit kind of descend downwards quite sharply, so that this is kind of quite below ground level. That's the plan anyway. Anyway, we're up to 11 o'clock, so I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you everyone for tuning in for our last stream of the year. And yeah, I'm sorry we didn't get too much done, but like I say, I'm mega ill at the moment and feeling like utter rubbish. But I'm glad I got to see all of you guys before Christmas. I'm going to quickly save. Don't forget to like the stream if you haven't. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so for more streams next year from all of us at Trichlor Gaming. And yeah, I hope all of you folks have a great Christmas. And we will see you again in 2025. There will be a couple of extra shorts, however, coming to the channel. So there'll be some funny things for you guys to watch over the year. What's happened here? Thanatos Dracon has got stuck. Of course it has. Gotta love it when these pteranodons break. Anyway, you guys have a good Christmas. I'll see you next year. And until then, wherever you are, stay safe and good night.